sunrise, the news with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
And good Tuesday morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Steve McMurray, in for Gary this morning.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2, meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we have a lot to get to this morning, but we want to get right to a check of the forecast. And the weekend as a whole was meh. Yesterday was, for the most part, okay, especially during parade time in the morning. But you're saying pretty good today.
I know, right?
This is what we've come to. It's nice. It's news. It's nice.
Brand new. We've got nice weather today. Believe it or not, yeah, we got sunshine out there right now. In fact,
foggy this morning. A little foggy.
Yes.
This morning.
Yes. So there are some spots of sunshine, as you can see here from our tower cam up on the studios here in Deerfield. You can see plenty of sun, the fog trying to develop here in the Mohawk Valley. Utica itself, it's clear, but then you head into the southern valleys. You can barely see anything from the camera on Hartwick College in Oneonta, and some fog reported in Cooperstown. So again, some patchy fog this morning. Either way, it's a cool start. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s. We've got clear skies, you can see here. Nearing freezing up in the Adirondacks. Again, frost potential could go into early June for the highest elevations up north. The radar is entirely dry this morning, and we are tracking an entirely dry morning today. Temperatures starting cool, warming up quickly into the 70s by this afternoon. This is a warm summer or late May-like day, believe it or not. But yeah, there is a chance for an isolated shower this evening. Most of that chance will primarily be north and south of the Mohawk Valley. But we have the latest on what we can expect heading into the week ahead when it comes to temperatures as well as rainfall potential. Those full details in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. We have a traffic alert to pass along.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good morning, everyone, on this Tuesday. Today, it starts out with, yes, there's sun. You can see the sun this morning. It's already an improvement compared to last week. But we will be tracking maybe an isolated shower this afternoon. We're not out of the woods with an entirely dry day just yet. But when you take a look outside, roadways, of course, are dry across the board. However, you might run into some patchy fog, so budget that into your morning commute this morning. A look at the traffic tracker. Again, lots of green across the board. Any slowdowns will likely be due to that valley fog, and much of that is actually taking place south of the Mohawk Valley in those southern valleys, with the exception of some parts starting to form in the Mohawk Valley itself out to the east. So, when it comes to your morning commute, expect some patchy fog. Temperatures in the 30s and 40s. This afternoon, we are talking 70s, no 40s and 50s, 70s today, with sunshine turning to increasing clouds. And of course, again, that chance for an isolated shower. We are tracking those chances, plus what we can expect temperature-wise for the rest of the week coming up in a few short minutes. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. Central New Yorkers paused Monday.
The Oneonta Cam is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are tracking dry conditions to start and sunshine to peek out for much of the area this morning. A look outside from the Mesonet camera network. Something else you could be tracking today too, that fog. Now, of course, in the corner of your screen here in parts of Lawrence, parts of Oppenheim, actually not so much Oppenheim, maybe Springfield. Fog to start the day today. The rest of us, completely clear skies. From Rome to Syracuse down to Binghamton, up north to Watertown. It is a dry start today, and although it's almost completely clear out there this morning, there is potential for an isolated shower. I'll show that in a second here, especially in the afternoon in the higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley. Tomorrow, same story. Just a chance for an isolated random shower. Widespread rain begins to arrive on Thursday, and then lingering rain moves through the area on Friday. So the next 4 days, really not a completely dry stretch by any means. But I want to talk about temperatures because they've been the main story. It's been cold, rainy the past several weeks. Now, the rest of this week, in the early part of June, looking around average temperature-wise, so low 70s. So it's actually pretty nice out for the next for the foreseeable future. Between the 4th and the 11th, it's actually looking slightly warmer than average. It's been quite a while since we've seen the orange category here over the Northeast. So if you see this means we'll see a warming trend looking ahead to next week and beyond. Now, you can see here the next several days, it cools down a little bit, but I know for pretty much a lot of you, if you see low 60s to mid 60s, this is already an improvement. But either way, here's that high pressure. Now watch what happens over the next day or so. So low pressure begins to move from the south, and it'll bring widespread rain as early as Wednesday night and into Thursday. And this will produce some scattered showers by the end of the day there as well. So let's see how it shapes up today. Increasing clouds, faded sunshine this evening, and then a few pop-up showers possible in the higher elevations north and south of the Mohawk Valley. Then peaks of sun and clouds Wednesday, same chance for an isolated shower. Wednesday night is when that widespread rain moves in. It can be a damp start to your day Thursday. And then Thursday itself, not really a washout besides the morning hours, with just some pockets of rain showers here and there. And so your 7-day forecast, we've got additional rain chances on Friday, the weekend. I know we got rain icons for the weekend. It's in the 60s. There's still peaks of sunshine. I guess it's an improvement compared to this past weekend, at least for the first part of it. But we're not looking at any 40 or 50-degree highs, which is the big difference.
It's one thing to have a cold weather. It's other to have rainy. When you have both, that's when you really start losing your mind. So we're getting back into semi-normal normalcy. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, the time now is coming up at 5:20. And good morning. Thank you for joining us this half hour. I'm Steve McMurray in for Gary this Tuesday morning. Let's start this half hour with a check of that Storm Tracker 2 forecast. And Eric, yesterday was the best day of the weekend. I mean, okay, the bar isn't set real high, but yesterday was pretty good, especially for some of the parades, which is even better news. But we're keeping that streak going. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, to be fair, yesterday I woke up, or at least driving out from waking up in the morning, and I could see blue in the sky, and I thought I was seeing things. And I haven't seen that too often.
What is this? What is it? Yeah. What is that spherical object burning my retinas?
And you could see more of it today. In fact, here's a look outside right now. We've got from cameras from the Mohawk Valley down into the southern valleys. Some of you will be seeing this sunshine this morning. Others might be seeing patchy fog. Either way, that fog in the southern valleys will lift. The fog that's trying to form in the Mohawk Valley, as we're mentioning off camera, looks almost like a lake in the Mohawk Valley out there. Either way, that's going to lift, and we'll see plenty of sun in the second half of the morning. Temperatures in the 40s and 30s is a cool start. It's a dry start on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, but this afternoon we warm up into the 70s. No, we're not talking 50s or 40s today, 70s, back to a more late May-like weather pattern. There is a chance for an isolated shower this evening and tonight. We'll have the details on that, plus rainfall chances and the temperature trend heading into the rest of this week in that full forecast. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away. New this morning,
is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. The Oneonta Camp is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss.
Welcome back to Sunrise. You saw on our camera in Oneonta some fog developing in the southern valleys. So if you're heading out the door this morning, aside from these cooler temperatures in the 40s and 30s, budget a few extra minutes to drive through and slow down a little bit in some of those areas that are seeing that fog. Either way, it's a dry start today. We'll be looking at mainly dry conditions this afternoon with the potential for an isolated shower primarily in the higher elevations later on this evening and in early tonight. Either way, it's very summer-like with highs today in the 70s. Our photo of the day today takes us to Whitesboro with a shot of a butterfly, close-up shot of the butterfly taken by Carrie. So shout out to those of you watching from Whitesboro this morning. And if you have any close-up photos like this is the first butterfly I've seen in quite a while submitted to us. Send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics for the chance to be photo featured right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. New York Mills held.
Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning on this Tuesday. Today we are looking at dry conditions to start, sunshine, but also we're tracking some valley fog. Now, those of you in the southern valleys, there's a lot more fog than those of us in the Mohawk Valley, but we're seeing it trying its best to form here. From our vantage point here, from our tower cam up on Smith Hill and Deerfield, this is facing the Mohawk Valley. In that direction, you head out east, closer to the morning sun. And with that, you can see that low-level moisture starting to converge into this valley fog early today. Either way, the rest of us will be dealing with sunshine to start. Temperatures in the 40s and 30s, and we'll climb pretty quickly into the 70s by this afternoon. So we're going to say goodbye to those daytime highs of 40s and 50s that were pretty stubborn, and I know a lot of folks were upset about last week, including myself. But still, an isolated shower possible today. We're not out of the woods with dry weather. We've got the chance for that this afternoon, and it's primarily in the higher elevations north and south of the Mohawk Valley. Same thing Wednesday. However, Wednesday night into Thursday is when our widespread rain moves in. And then it turns a little more scattered for Thursday afternoon and into Friday. So our best shot for rain will be Wednesday night into Thursday. So when it comes to temperatures, we look into the first week of June, and it starts right around average, gray here, which means we're looking at low 70s for those temperatures, which for a lot of you will definitely enjoy as we enter the late spring season. Beyond that, from the 4th to the 11th of June, looking at slightly above average temperatures, likely in the mid to upper 70s, which is something that will be even warmer than this coming week, which will be a little bit of a cool down, but 60s, mid 60s, if that's the cool down we'll experience, I know I'll take it. We'll see if you guys would take that as well. At least compared to last week, definitely a big warm up. So, high pressure in place here today. Clouds increase as this low moves in from the southwest. This will drag in widespread rain Wednesday and into Thursday morning. And then, of course, we'll bring in some increased humidity. But at least the air is dry today. Temperatures in the 70s. Isolated showers, as you can see here in our skycast in the higher elevations. Then, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy skies Wednesday. Isolated shower. Widespread rain moves in. You can see the arrival likely after the overnight hours. And a damp start to your Thursday, followed by some on and off rain showers in the afternoon and into the evening. Your 7-day forecast, as I mentioned again, we are expecting a little bit of a cool down by this coming weekend, but 60s are the cool down, not 50s and 40s. So if I say that, then we know for sure those temperatures are starting to gradually warm.
Gradually, yes.
Late
spring. Little by little, we're getting back a little closer to normal. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, now to the south where the weather threat.
The news with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve McMurray, in for Gary today.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And a lot to get to this morning, but as you saw from our quad cam shot of the area, and right behind us, the sun is up and shining beautifully in downtown Utica. A little foggy in some other parts, though.
Yeah, well, I think that's the main thing. We're seeing the sun.
Yes, it does exist. You can see
it. Yes, it's not a figment of your imagination. Look outside right now. Yes, sunshine as well as some locations seeing some fog. Primarily in the southern valleys, where the satellite and the camera indications are pointing to where that's forming, as well as in parts of the Mohawk Valley. It's trying its best to form, as you can see here, but it's not nearly as dense as, say, Oneonta and Cooperstown early today. But in Utica itself, blue skies. Temperatures in the 40s in the Mohawk Valley, 30s in Hamilton with fog and cloudy skies, and temperatures in the 30s in Saranac Lake. So it's a cool start to your day today, and it's a dry start to your day today. Look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. So when we enter this afternoon, we'll see those temperatures climb into the mid-70s. This is going to feel like a late May day. Finally feeling like a late May day. However, we'll see the clouds increase. There's potential for an isolated shower, but most of us do remain dry. As we look ahead to the week, we have still warmer temperatures than average, but on top of that, we have the potential for rain moving in again. Will it be widespread or just isolated like today? The details on that in a few minutes. Steve?
Perhaps a good day to hit the golf course.
Yes.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, we have a traffic alert to pass along this morning.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Welcome back on this Tuesday. Time now is 6:11, and as you head out the door this morning, you might encounter some fog, but a blessing, some sun in the sky early today. Maybe a great start to the work week for those of you who had yesterday off. Either way, we start out the day with dry conditions, some fog you can see there in Herkimer, but the roadways looking clear. So you might budget a few extra minutes this morning just for encountering that fog. You might have to slow down in some of those areas with reduced visibility. A look at the traffic tracker. We do have one incident to report of north of Westmoreland along Route 233 right at Carter Road. There's a reported accident there. Just a heads up. It doesn't appear to be any road impacts. Looks to be green right now, but again, just a heads up. North of Westmoreland along Route 233, an accident was reported there. The radar right now looking dry, and we are expecting mainly dry conditions today. Again, patchy fog this morning. Increasing clouds this afternoon, the chance for an isolated shower, and that's primarily focused in the higher elevations north and south of the Mohawk Valley. Following today, we still are tracking some warm days ahead. Maybe a slight cool down, but we have a look at the long range pattern plus the rainfall chances looking ahead to the middle of the week in that full forecast. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. Central New Yorkers, Paul.
Swell your day. Watch for the Storm Tracker 2 Commutecast and be ready for your drive to and from work. The Storm Tracker 2 Commutecast is brought to you by the Pratt Munson College of Art and Design. Visit Pratt Munson today and ignite curiosity and creativity.
I just have one question for you. Did you just your ticket yet?
The Oneonta Cam is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, on this Tuesday. I know you just saw, a bit difficult to see some of the cameras here in our area with that fog. In fact, from our vantage point high atop Smith Hill and Deerfield, we can actually see some of that fog trying to form in the Mohawk Valley itself out in the distance here. Either way, outside of that fog, blue skies to start your morning today. Temperatures in the 40s and 30s, waking up to a pretty nice start, although a cool start to the day today. It's a dry beginning. However, by this afternoon, we can't rule out an isolated shower. I know you're probably thinking, well, we can't have one day of dry weather, can we? Well, I figured we'd let you know because it's not entirely dry today. Some of us might remain entirely dry, but in the entire span of all of our counties we cover, there could be a couple of those showers popping up, again, primarily in the higher elevations north and south of the Mohawk Valley. Same thing tomorrow. Widespread rain moves in Wednesday night into Thursday. Then the rainfall chances go to more scattered category throughout the day Thursday and into Friday. So your best shot for rain will be Wednesday night and into Thursday. When it comes to temperatures, here's a look at what we can expect for the first week of June. And you see a lot of gray here. That means we're average, which means roughly the low 70s, which isn't too bad. If you see gray here, that's good news for late May and early June. When it comes to the following week, from the 4th to the 11th, you can see here even some orange peeking in here as well, meaning it's going to be slightly above average, pushing the mid to maybe even upper 70s. This is still, of course, 8 to 14 days out. In the short term, the next 5 to 7 days, we're going to see a little bit of a cool down into the 60s, which by any means, low to mid 60s being a cool down is something I'm looking forward to. I know some of you might be looking forward to that as well, if that's the category we call cool. So we've got high pressure in place here today. As we head throughout the afternoon, we'll see some clouds work their way in from the south. This is from this low pressure that moved its way in. It remains that most of that widespread rain sticks out of our area until Wednesday into Thursday. Then we can see that rainfall moving its way in. On our skycast here, we zoom in. Today, some wispy clouds, pop-up showers in the Adirondacks, maybe some parts in the southern valleys, but the highest chances up north. Then Wednesday, starting out with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, peaks of sun, either way dry morning, temperatures in the 60s and 70s, and then that widespread rain moves in overnight into early Thursday, turning to scattered showers and downpours by the afternoon and into the evening. And so your 7-day forecast, cooling down as we approach the weekend, 60s with rain chances, but still some peaks of sunshine as well. Either way, not too bad of a stretch as we approach the next week ahead. And if today's your birthday, a very happy birthday to all of you celebrating.
Thank you for joining us this half hour. I'm Steve McMurray in for Gary this Tuesday. Let's start this half hour with a check of that Storm Tracker 2 forecast. And for that, we're going to head over to meteorologist Eric Gage. And Eric, could be seeing the sun twice in as many days. Say it ain't so.
I know, right? It seems like it's just a fantasy at this point,
right?
Expecting sunshine more than one day. Yeah, a look outside right now. We have views of sunny skies underneath what some folks are waking up to, which would be some patchy fog. So that's really the only impact weather-wise early this morning. It is a little on the cooler side. Temperatures in the 40s in the Mohawk Valley, 30s in the North Country and in the southern valleys, but either way, it is a dry start to your day today, so expect no rain for the morning. As we head into this afternoon, we'll see temperatures climb quickly into the 50s, 60s, eventually mid-70s. Yes, not only are we going to see sunshine, it's going to be a warm sunshine, but clouds will increase. We have the potential for an isolated shower this evening, primarily in the higher elevations in the Adirondacks and south. But when it comes to the week ahead, we're looking at a slight cool down. Will that be a common trend? And how cool is that cool down going to be? We'll have the full forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. New this morning, a new war.
The Oneonta Cam is brought to you by Semicron Danfoss.
Some fog reported in the southern valleys as we wake up this morning. Temperatures also starting out on the cooler side in the 40s and in the 30s as you wake up. Now today's temperatures will be peaking in the 70s, a pretty nice afternoon. Sunshine and patchy fog turns to increasing clouds and the chance for an isolated shower. So today, mainly quiet weather-wise. Just a heads up for those of you, especially north of the Mohawk Valley and the Adirondacks, the best spot for a potential sudden shower. Either way, our photo of the day today takes us to Whitesboro. So shout out to those of you watching from Whitesboro this morning. A photo submitted to us of a backyard butterfly. It's sent in by Carrie. So first butterfly photo I think we've got submitted in quite some time. If you have photos like this one, close-up shots, or nice scenes of springtime, anything rain clouds, rainbows, and anything that you think could brighten someone's day, you can send it to WKTV.com/weather/pics for a chance to be photo featured right here on News Channel 2 at sunrise. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. New York Mills held its
Dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are tracking sunshine, at least a good amount of it right now, but at least there are some areas of patchy fog. We'll, of course, mention that, of course, includes the Herkimer area, as well as parts of the southern valleys. Here's a live look at downtown Utica right now. You can see it's relatively fog-free. If we turn our attention, though, to Herkimer, We can see here that the fog is in parts of the roadways early today. So just a heads up, if you were heading out this morning, might be encountering some of that as you head out on your morning commute. So again, live view at Herkimer early today. A look at some conditions this morning. 42 the temperature in Rome, 41 in Hamilton, and it's a cool start, a dry start. Expect dry weather for much of the day today. However, as we head into the afternoon, there's potential for an isolated shower in the higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley. Same thing for Wednesday. Widespread rain moves in Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then scattered showers continue for Thursday evening and into Friday. So that's the rainfall potential. How about those temperatures? So as we enter the first week of June, it actually shapes up pretty average. Temperatures in the 70s, so you see a lot of gray here for much of the Northeast, which is good news. As we head into the 4th through the 11th, something we haven't seen in quite some time, the color orange in the Northeast, symbolizing above average temperatures. And so that's the trend, of course, as we head into beyond a week or so of forecasting. Usually it's trends that are the forecasts that are most reliable. Forecasting day-by-day temperatures, really only focused in the short term, as you can see here, which we are expecting a slight cool down as we enter the end of the work week. But still, it's not too bad. Low to mid 60s. If that's a cool down by our standards now, I'll take this compared to what we saw last week. So high pressure in place here today. Well, we will see some bands of wispy clouds from the southwest. These will drag in initially an isolated shower today and tomorrow, but widespread rain Thursday, at least late Wednesday and early Thursday morning. And we can see the timing of it here in the Skycast. Today, a few wispy clouds, pop-up showers, primarily in the Adirondacks. And then tonight, mostly cloudy, dry conditions, lows in the 50s. Tomorrow, some peaks of sunshine, mostly cloudy skies, and then the eventual arrival of rain overnight into early Thursday morning. This is 6 a.m. Thursday, widespread rain, and then on and off rain showers heading into Thursday afternoon and into Thursday evening. And so your 7-day forecast, we are still expecting a slight cool down by the end of the week and into the weekend. Some isolated rain chances as well. 60s, though, I guess that's not too bad. If that's our cool down criteria, we'll take that. Plus 70s today and tomorrow, feeling like we're getting out of that cool pattern.
Yeah, exactly. More May-like than November. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, to the south, where the weather threat is still
The news with Steve McMurray and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this noontime. I'm Steve McMurray, in for Gary today.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
We want to get right to that weather forecast because, over the weekend, folks were sort of grumpy that it was pretty rainy and cold, but now you are a hero because the sun is out, as you can see, a little cloudy, but the sun is out.
Yeah, that's the main thing. The sun is shining out there right now. In fact, a live look at downtown Utica. Blue skies. I think a lot of us are just thankful that we can actually see the sun out there right now. It is a warm afternoon as well. Temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s, and that will continue to climb throughout the day today. A few clouds reported in Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, but again, here locally, much of our area, aside from some faded sunshine, is cloud-free. We will see that cloud increase as we approach the evening hours, and tonight, there's also a chance for an isolated shower, primarily north of the Mohawk Valley, but we have a better shot for rain later on this week, but will the temperatures remain warm as well? We'll have a full detailed look at that temperature trend, plus what we can expect heading into the weekend. Will be a rainy one, or on top of that, how this month has shaped up. It's been a very cold one, but is it really top 10 material? All that and more coming up in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. Firefighters in Rome battled
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. It's turning out to be a pretty nice day across the area with plenty of sunshine and warm temperatures, and something we probably would not even think about last week. What the truck, going out and enjoying some of the amazing foods that this event provides every Tuesday. And it's starting, well, it has started last week, it continues this week, but today's weather looks phenomenal for it. We've got temperatures in the 70s, maybe some increasing clouds, but either way, it's a mainly dry afternoon and great weather to go out with friends or with family and enjoy, again, some of the great foods that these vendors provide. A look at some area cameras this afternoon. You can see here plenty of sunshine. You can see, of course, those milky skies. That's that mid to upper level cloud deck moving in from the approaching rain that's going to arrive by Wednesday night into Thursday. And I see here, we're mentioning Wednesday night into Thursday, but we've got isolated rain chances today and tomorrow. Those are still from isolated pop-up showers, primarily in the higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley today, and still can't rule out an isolated shower across the area tomorrow, less focused on just higher elevations. Either way, almost all of us will see rain Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, likely a rainy morning commute, followed by scattered showers Thursday afternoon, and same thing for Friday. But how does the temperature shape up for the next couple of weeks? So let's start out with next week. From the 1st to the 5th, gray across the Northeast, which is great news for those of you who are hoping for warm temperatures. It means we're in the upper 60s, I should say closer to low 70s for next week, which is fantastic summer-like weather. And beyond, the 4th to the 11th, orange. We haven't seen that in the Northeast in quite a while. Above average temperatures likely in the mid-70s. And although we are looking at that beyond this week, just a heads up, we're going to see a little bit of a cool down by the end of the week into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures in the low to mid-60s. But if this is a cool down, we'll take that anytime, as this is going to be about as cool as we get for the near future. So the bigger picture shows high pressure in place here today. However, the clouds are increasing. Here's that low pressure that will surge north Wednesday night into Thursday. There it goes. And then some scattered showers linger through the area by Thursday afternoon and through Friday. So today you can see those clouds slowly starting to move in from the southwest. Pop-up showers possible in the Adirondacks. Then by tonight, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 50s. Tomorrow, already another warm day. Highs approaching the low 70s with a mix of clouds and sunshine. And again, although it's not nearly widespread here in the central New York area, out west of Syracuse, you can see those pop-up showers begin to roll in. Then the widespread rain moves in Wednesday night into Thursday. 6 a.m. you can see here, widespread rain. Then scattered showers and downpours by Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening with some peaks of sunshine as well. Almost similar to what we saw yesterday with the sunshine and then some sudden downpours and thunderstorms. Either way, it's still going to be not too bad of a stretch temperature-wise. The next few days, low to mid-60s, as cool as we get for the highs, and also opportunity for sunshine as well. So no just overcast, cool, damp days like we saw last week. That appears to be out of the picture for now. All
right, getting a little more as we get the unofficial start of summer, heading towards summer weather. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, setting boundaries is a critical part of a person. And that was NBC's Liz Kreutz reporting. Good afternoon once again. And Eric is in now with a first look at the forecast for this half hour, and pretty decent day out there so far.
Yeah, beautiful weather, and of course it's been such a difference compared to what we have experienced the past couple of weeks. In fact, I know everyone's saying how cold, how rainy it's been. How does that compare to the other May records? In fact, here's a look at them right now. We actually have not hit the top 10 for record coldest. That is, of course, held by the May of 1967 with 50.2 degrees average temperature. We're sitting at 56. So we got a few more degrees to break that. I think with the next few days, those temperatures still warmer. I don't really think we're going to be breaking any of these records anytime soon. When it comes to rainfall, we actually could reach the top 10 by the end of this month. We're right on the cusp of it. The top 10 wettest months, actually 2011 sits at the top here at 9.51 inches, 1890 at 8.69, then going all the way down to 2025, which is outside the top 10 at 6.25 inches. We gain another maybe a third of an inch of rain and we'll enter that category. So we haven't seen the cold nearly as much as the rainfall, and I wish we had data on the clouds because this might have been one of the cloudiest Mays ever, but unfortunately Rome does not carry that data. Either way, warm conditions and sunny conditions out there. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s will remain in the 70s and 60s this evening and tonight. Chance of an isolated shower north. Either way, we're looking at dry conditions for the rest of the area. Now, we are looking at additional rain chances the next few days, well, the timing of them and if they're widespread or just a stray shower coming up in that full forecast. Steve?
All right, Eric, thanks. The Trump administration.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. After sunshine yesterday, I know some of you got to experience some sudden downpours, hail, and thunderstorms. Today, a little bit less of that rain chance. In fact, if you're heading out to an event that's a staple of Utica in the summertime that started last week and this week's weather, probably a whole lot better, What the Truck starts out this afternoon at 4. Temperatures in the 70s. Clouds increase, but still looking almost entirely dry. So if you're looking for something to do tonight with friends or family, well, you got something to do and enjoy the great foods by a lot of local food trucks, local restaurants. Been there before, was not disappointed by any of that food. Either way, we've got plenty of sun across the local area. A few clouds beginning to roll in from the west. Now, these are more of the wispy cloud deck, very faint, high-level clouds. Not really blocking out the sun too much, but either way, it's going to cause increasing clouds by this evening. So our next round of widespread rain arrives Wednesday night into Thursday. Notice here, we still have an isolated chance for a shower today, primarily north of the Mohawk Valley and the Adirondacks, as well as some parts of the area tomorrow. Again, the rain chances, if any, are going to be very quick, brief, and maybe a little heavy, but either way, it's non-zero rain chance. As we look ahead temperature-wise, it's going to be pretty average as we head into next week, the 1st to the 5th. Gray means looking at temperatures in the low 70s to potentially mid-70s, even warmer following that from the 4th to the 11th. So we've got this warm stretch looking ahead to the beginning of June, but at least for this week, we're not seeing any major warm-up, but not a major cool-down either. It's going to cool down into the 60s, maybe 50s on Sunday, but along with the cool-down, it's not a major one. Temperatures in the 70s today and tomorrow, eventually into that cool-down by the weekend. So what we're tracking is high pressure in place here today. Watch how this rainfall begins to move its way north by this evening, eventually arriving into our area by tomorrow night through Thursday. This will bring widespread rain to start your day Thursday morning, followed by scattered showers in the afternoon. But as we turn the page just to today, you can see those clouds increase, maybe some pop-up showers in the Adirondacks, but the rest of the area mainly dry. Mostly cloudy to partly sunny tomorrow. Another warm day in the upper 60s, low 70s. And then as we head into tomorrow night, we'll see the arrival of some showers. Widespread rain by 6 a.m. Thursday morning, and then it turns a little more sporadic in the afternoon with clouds, rain showers, hit or miss. A typical sort of weather pattern we see this time of year. So your 7-day forecast, again, we're going to cool down a little bit by the weekend. The latest data coming in literally in the past few minutes shows Sunday turning a little cooler, maybe in the 50s, but either way, we've got plenty of 60s, and beyond that, it's in a long cool down. We're back into the 70s by next week with more average looking temperatures. So I think we're all just looking forward to getting out of this cool slump and into finally summertime.
Yeah, and a lot of, you mentioned What the Truck, which starts tonight, and a lot of church festivals and
Yes.
organizations festivals starting this weekend, and actually started this past week, Memorial Day. So eye to the sky always. So that Thursday,
Yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday becomes very important. So hopefully you don't have any washouts. Rain in the forecast. Hopefully there's some breaks of sun
Yeah.
as well. All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Well, it's been a mainstay of summer on NBC.